Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Coming at you with the second hour of the Vegas Take here live, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, K-Dawn. Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro along with J.D. Sharp. Also campaign and the guys, Johnny handling his business as well. Jason Stein here live. The whole gang is here except for Brian. He'll be back next week, though, never fear. We've been discussing with Michael Avenatti, of course, the prospects of the 2020 election cycle, JD, and, of course, what impact impeachment will have on that, and also the upcoming Senate trial with respect to Donald Trump. I want to lay a couple things out there for you, JD, and kind of bounce them off you. I look at this upcoming election as, it's obviously there's going to be a focus on President Trump and what he's been able to do in the 3 years he's been president and going into the fourth year. But I look at it in obviously a perspective of someone who is not a fan of the president. And I look at it this way. The Democrats don't view this as, we need to go after the hardcore Trump voter, right? The Trump voter that has stood by the president no matter what, that will stand by the president no matter what. And much along the lines of Michael Avenatti, I am in the camp of this election's going to boil down to what the swing states do. It's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to the Pennsylvanias, to the Michigans, to the Wisconsins. That's going to be the indicator. That's going to be the linchpin.
And you have to ask yourself, what are they going to vote based on? Because if you're a staunch Republican, if you're pro Donald Trump, it's probably because you're anti-abortion, your things like that. But if you're kind of in the middle, you're more worried about, at least from my experience, you're more worried about how the laws and how what the president does affects you, your pocketbook, your family, et cetera, et cetera. And if that's the case and the economy is still strong and unemployment is down, then Donald Trump is going to sweep those swing states, in my opinion, because they just don't care. Because why would they? They don't care what he does in his personal life. And I don't think, and they don't care if he's a bad human being. They just want a good leader who makes their life better. And I don't think that the Democrats, they still don't comprehend that simple notion. They think that everybody is concerned. Everybody is making a big deal about how bad of a human being he is, like Brian does and like you do. Yeah. And those who are on the fence, they're more worried about how he affects their own life because they're selfish and they're human beings.
And I get that, and you're coming at it from a reasonable, Republican perspective. That is your point of view, JD.
A fiscally conservative point of view.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people out there that believe that.
If you're fiscally conservative right now, you like Donald Trump.
I think you're making it a little bit more simplified there. I'm talking when it comes to the swing states. I'm telling you, it's not like the president has gained support in the swing states. He has, in fact, lost support in the swing states from a numbers perspective. And so, I have this point of view, and you pointed out, obviously, that that you think Democrats don't really necessarily care about the. You're correct. You're absolutely correct when you say that there's a lot of Americans out there and Trump supporters and Republicans that say, I don't care about all this other stuff that he does as far as his personality. We just care about our dinner table, right? We care about, putting food on the table, having jobs, the day-to-day. That is what our focus is. You can do that and at the same time expect the president to act in an ethical way, expect the president not to do things that would get him impeached, expect the president to hold himself to a higher standard. So I look at this and I say, as myself, like you, JD, I'm a Midwestern guy. I grew up in Michigan, okay, and I'm very much aware of the mentality of people in the Midwest, the flyover. We call it the flyover states. We call it, the Great Plains, the Rust Belt, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm absolutely aware of the mentality, but the fact of the matter is that I think it's going to be a lot different than it was in 2016. Hillary Clinton is not Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton is not Elizabeth Warren. Hillary Clinton, sure as heck, isn't Bernie Sanders. So, look, for all intents and purposes, I think we can agree, right, that those three are going to be the Democratic nominee. You talk about the other people all you want, But from a realistic standpoint, right, JD, we're talking about
think
Bernie, we're talking about Elizabeth, we're talking about Joe.
I think that Pete and Andrew Yang are going to make a couple of moves in the next 3 to 6 months.
But I agree with Michael Avenatti, and I think I agree with you when I say absolutely from a credential standpoint, and from if we were just speaking about how we feel about Pete Buttigieg as a candidate, he should absolutely be considered. But we all understand the reality of America, and I don't necessarily know that he is ready yet. Could he be in 2024?
Well, again,
possibly.
If you're
Could he be in 2028? Absolutely.
If you're fiscally conservative, do you really care if a man is married to another man? How does that, again, go over that same logic? Does that affect your life in a negative capacity? Probably not now. Like I asked my mother. My mother was here for the last segment on Friday, or for the whole show on Friday. And I said, Mom, do you care that Pete Buttigieg is a homosexual? She says, no. I just don't want it thrown in my face. That's all she said. She just doesn't want to see it, to see that particular act. Well, and I think that, and she's a 58-year-old Caucasian woman who lives in Iowa, and I think that thought process is going to be pretty consistent with a lot of fiscal conservatives out there.
You're giving way too much credit though to a lot of the base of the Republican Party.
I'm not talking
that
about
is closed-minded when it comes to homosexuality.
I'm not talking about evangelicals. I'm talking about fiscal conservatives.
Yeah, but there's a lot. But JD, you have to admit, even in the Republican Party, let's put it this way: it's not like the Democrats and the people that are on the left are the ones that would be thought of as not inclusive, right? It would be thought of as all the time trying to bash homosexuality or bashing alternate lifestyles. It's not that. That's not the segment of the population. It's the people that are on the right. Right? It's the people that are Republicans, the people that would vote for President Trump that would be against that. So we want to get your thoughts and perspective also. 702-257-5396. What do you think are going to be the major factors as we enter into the 2020 election cycle? It's going to be wild because not only do we have just the perspective of, the candidates that were going to be involved here, whether it's Warren, whether it's Biden, whether it's Bernie Sanders, obviously going up against President Trump. You still have the impeachment angle that everyone's looking at, and the upcoming Senate trial, and how this is all going to transpire. Mitch McConnell mentioned and said, look, just take 2 weeks here in the holidays and enjoy your holidays with your families because it's going to get ramped up. There's no question that it's going to be intriguing, to say the least, how America responds to this election cycle. I'm telling you, and as I pointed out, JD, it's going to be about those swing states. It's going to be and look, here is my scenario I want to put out there. I think Joe Biden's going to be the nominee. All right, you can talk about his age, we can talk about his viability, we can talk about how good a president he's going to be. We can talk about whether he's going to be a president for 4 years or 8 years. I just think that the Democrats are going to want to put the one person that they think can beat Donald Trump. For Democrats, that's what this is all about. It's their entire focus is and look, I'm talking as someone who would support the Democratic candidate against President Trump. Their entire focus is we need to get Donald Trump out of office. That's all that matters.
And how do you do that? You do whatever you can to be so far opposite of him. Right?
Absolutely, and you can you can subscribe.
Which is not what you need to do to beat Donald Trump.
Well, no, you can subscribe. Look,
that's the wrong thought process.
Let's think about this, right, JD? Bernie Sanders, okay, he's considered a Democratic socialist.
He's definitely a socialist.
You're a Republican. And there's a lot of people on that are Republicans that view Bernie Sanders almost he's a boogeyman type character, right? Like if you elect Bernie Sanders, you're just basically want to turn you think it's okay for the United States of America to turn into a socialist country.
Yeah,
that's basically what you think.
I would
that's
say
not going to be the reality.
I don't think this way, but I think some Republicans think that Bernie Sanders is trying to turn the United States into Cuba.
Exactly.
Which is not the case. But that being said, some of the things he's proposing that him and Elizabeth Warren and AOC are proposing are pretty much impossible financially to make happen.
It's true. 702-257-5396 is the phone number. We're talking about the impeachment process, also the 2020 election cycle. Joining us on the phone lines now is Carl. Carl wants to chime in. Carl, thanks for your call. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Carl?
Yeah, how you doing, guys? I think you know what before I retired, I was in psychology, but anyway, that has nothing to do with it. But he made a speech last night, my favorite president, and he's talking about windmills. And he said, I just read a book about them, and I know more about the windmills than anybody else. He says they do nothing but pollute. Pollution comes out of it. Well, that's just ridiculous. They do just the opposite. And there's just a point of order there. And also, I'm used to listening to people talk. People say, oh, I can't wait till there's a debate between him and whoever runs the Democrat, or who's for the Democrats. Well, number one, Trump can't debate. He's not intelligent enough. He's too childlike to debate. All he can do is insult. If you ever listen to him, a question will be asked and it'll insult the other person's appearance or his intelligence or something.
It is interesting, right, Carl? Like, people have short memories. Obviously, President Trump won the election, right? But they think back to what happened with those debates with Hillary Clinton as if Donald Trump won those debates. Donald Trump didn't win those debates.
No,
I don't understand. There's people that are Trump supporters that will tell you till the cows come home that he won those debates. But to your point, Carl, is that no, he wasn't on an intellectual level where he was, countering everything that Hillary Clinton was talking about. He wasn't breaking down policy or just annihilating Hillary from that aspect.
But he followed her around like a stalker. He looked very weird, very creepy. And actually, sometimes I do think he's a master debater, though. I have to say that. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, okay. No, but really,
good one,
if
Carl.
you look at him, he's so childlike. He's like a kid hitting back all the time. He cannot debate anybody on an intellectual level about a point or a subject. You ask him a question about what do you think about China, he'll say, you got a big nose. I mean, it's something. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I wish people could see that, could look through the smoke screen of his non-intelligence and just see it.
Carl, we appreciate the phone call. Have a great holiday. Enjoy yourself, okay?
I'll tell you what would be hard to watch. It would be hard to watch the Donald Trump-Joe Biden debate.
Why would it be hard, then?
They're both 73 to 75 years old.
Yeah, but you know the deal. They're both fiery, though, JD. That's their personality.
They both make gaffes consistent. That their content would probably not be factually accurate. I would prefer to watch Donald Trump debate a guy like a Pete Buttigieg. I think Pete Buttigieg would tear Donald Trump to pieces on the debate stage. But Donald Trump would have a significant advantage over Joe Biden for a number of reasons.
From an entertainment value, I think both debates would be interesting, both Biden and Trump, and also Buttigieg and Trump. I agree with you as far as I think. I don't necessarily know if Buttigieg would just tear him apart, but this whole notion that President Trump is somehow this savant when it comes to his debating skills and how he's just wired in when it comes to details and policy and putting forth a cohesive argument is just ridiculous. So, hey, we'll see what happens on that front, though, from a debate side. But he also Carl brings up another interesting point too, JD. Why does President Trump always feel the need to do this? He always comes out with I know more about the military than the generals do. I know more about policy than the lawmakers do. I know more about North Korea than the Foreign Affairs Committee does. He has this need, it seems, to just portray himself as, you know what? Not only am I informed on it, not only am I wired in on it, I know more than anybody about these topics. It's kind of strange how he does that, JD. In my opinion,
he likes to validate himself in what he says by saying, I am very, very well versed in this particular thing, so you should take what I say seriously. What I say matters. It's all about what his word is or what he's saying. It's all about it mattering.
702-257-5396 is the phone number. Give us your opinion, your take on the discussion at hand. Kevin joins us now on the phone lines. Kevin, we appreciate you taking some time.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Hey, guys. Two things. One was that I was thinking a good Democratic ticket would be Biden and Yang. Because the truth of the matter is that Biden is a Dixiecrat. He's going to, he speaks to the white man's policies, even though he's, a Democrat. And Yang is like a new, some fresh blood that could get in there for the Democratic Party. But and I think that could be a winning ticket. The other thing is, I think is it JD?
Yes.
I've been listening to you. I've really been trying to figure you out. And some of the things that you say when you try to defend Trump is so, it's out there. But you sound like such a smart man and such a reasonable person. But when it comes to Trump, he really exposes that, as a Republican, the Republican Party that you guys so supposedly stand for is non-existent. You guys are more of a Tea Party, just win at any cost. What put food on your tables, and how do you guys just keep getting the courts, the justice systems, the institutions to lean your way, which is very dangerous because after a while, the rule of law is not going to even matter because you guys flaunt it, you break it, you ignore it when it doesn't go the way that you want it to go. And it just concerns me.
I'm sorry. So what did I say about Trump that is quote unquote out there? Because I mean, on a pretty consistent basis, I mean, do I support Donald Trump? Yes, but when he does something that I don't agree with, I say something about it pretty consistent. I don't support him to all ends, and I'm probably one of. I mean, I do that all the time. Actually, there's never been a situation where I've said, we've had callers on this show that call in and Trump can do no wrong in their eyes, and that's not the case with me. And so I don't know where you're getting that notion from.
Yeah, I would characterize it as him defending Trump more so as he defends kind of a position that is conservative Republican.
The indefensible stuff. This man just attacked the dead man through his widow, and as a husband, as a father, as a man, you should be just. I mean, there should be a bridge too far for you, but there's just not. For Trump, you said something to the effect of, well, he did write some stuff about him when he was alive.
No, what I said was this shouldn't be a surprise that Donald Trump did what he did. Obviously, he shouldn't have done what he did, but John Dingell and Donald Trump did have some. They had some beef. It wasn't. I think what I was trying to say was that the media made it seem like he just attacked this guy for no reason, and that's not the case. John Dingell and Donald Trump had a long-standing beef.
Kevin, we appreciate.
But isn't that like preschool level? Rationalizing?
Again, I didn't say I supported it, but I don't like the way that it's being portrayed by the left-wing media in particular.
And Kevin, we appreciate the phone call. We're up against a break though, but no question. I mean, it's when it's indefensible. That's by definition. It's tough for you to have the person's back and be able to give a rational reason why they could say that. I'm Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro along with JD Sharp, and I want to bounce something else off of JD as we go to a quick break and come back. And bottom of the hour, John Schaefer with the news. It's the Vegas Take coming away live, 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON. Monday edition, Vegas Take coming away live here, 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON. The talk of Las Vegas. Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro along with JD Sharp. We've been discussing the 2020 election cycle that we're about to embark on and possibilities with respect to debate and who President Trump might be taking on and how intriguing it could be. And Brady joins us now on the phone lines. Brady wants to talk about what he thinks and his take as far as the Democrats in a debate against Donald Trump. Brady, what's up?
What's up, Brady?
Good morning, gentlemen.
What do you think? Donald Trump, do you like the matchups if it would be maybe against a Biden? What do you think? Against Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren? What do you think? Andrew Lang? You think they'll take?
I love the matchups against Mary Pete. He would destroy Mary Pete. He would also destroy Sleepy.
Did you just call him Mary Pete? JD, did you just call him Mary Pete?
He did call him Mary Pete. Why do you think he would destroy Pete Buttigieg?
Oh, because he's just not all there. He's 37 years old, no experience besides being a mayor.
All right, so Brady, let me get this straight. All right, if you had a choice between who's not all there, and you had Donald Trump and you had Pete Buttigieg, which one do you think, a lot of us would tend to lean towards as to the person that's, quote unquote, not all there?
I don't think it's going to be either one of them because due to the fact it's going to be a brokered convention, the Democrats are then going to pull somebody out of the woodwork like, say, Michelle Obama or Oprah. You're going to see somebody like that. Or guess who? It could be the Hildebeest could be brought back, Clinton.
It's going to be one of three people. Come on, Brady. It's going to be Elizabeth Warren. It's going to be Joe Biden. Look, I've talked about this. Pete Buttigieg, I love the guy as far as a candidate. I love him as a prospect for the presidency, maybe in 2024 or 2028. But when it comes to a matter of a month from now, I just don't see him as being the guy. So I think
right now, did you see that Obama came out and endorsed not creepy Joe, but Pocahontas Liz Warren? That's kind of funny, don't you think?
Well, it's not really funny. You know the deal here. What's going to happen? President Obama is going to endorse the actual candidate. Once the Democrats decide who the person is that's going to run against Donald Trump, then there's going to be everyone's going to get behind that candidate. So
but him and Joe had a bromance. Come on, man. You didn't give them nothing for their bromance over the 8 years they were together. he just dissed him under the table.
Oh, well, I don't know. That's a strong word, considering that he was his vice president for 8 years. And I think that, if here's the deal. You know the deal. If Joe Biden's the nominee, President Obama is going to be all behind him. It's going to be a thing where they absolutely.
Why isn't he there now? Because Creepy Joe, he doesn't even want to endorse Creepy Joe because he's so guilty from the Ukraine. He stinks.
Oh, Ukraine. Yeah, no, yeah. He's so guilty. Yeah, there's been so many viable charges that have come out of that. Come on, Brady. I mean, there's been nothing whatsoever that's come out of that.
There haven't been charged, but there really hasn't been any type of investigation, at least a legitimate investigation.
Well,
and I would not be shocked if foul play, if pay to play was taking place.
You got a whole bunch of things.
Brady, we appreciate your phone call. Enjoy your holiday, my friend. 702-257-5396 is the phone number. Much more of your phone calls on the other side, as well as we jump into more topics on the Vegas Take on your Monday. I'm Chris Wynn in for Brian, along with JD Sharp, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON. We roll along on a Monday. It's the Vegas Take coming away live, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON. Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro, along with JD Sharp. JD, we were talking about, of course, the debates and possible, opponents of President Trump when we roll into 2020 here and the Democrats. And in the last debate, of course, we saw the Democrats going after each other. And it wasn't a surprise because they want to point out the differences among themselves, right? And they want to point out why they feel they're a better candidate than their opponents. Well, Elizabeth Warren, again, took aim at Pete Buttigieg over a fundraiser. And, we know how the Democrats like to proceed. They like to, be portrayed as less elitist than the other Democrats that they're facing, right? And a kind of along the same lines as that, Elizabeth Warren weighed in as far as Pete Buttigieg.
The mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that. He had promised that every fundraiser he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision many years ago that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Mayor, your response. According to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. So this is important. This is the problem with issuing purity tests you cannot yourself pass. If I pledge never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine. Now, supposing that you went home feeling the holiday spirit, I know this isn't likely, but stay with me, and decided to go on to PeteForAmerica.com and give the maximum allowable by law, $2,800. Would that pollute my campaign because it came from a wealthy person? No, I would be glad to have that support. We need the support from everybody who is committed to helping us defeat Donald Trump.
So Pete Buttigieg, look, I mean, this whole notion that Pete Buttigieg is some elitist candidate that is, more wired in with high level donors than others on that stage is laughable, right, JD? I mean, come on. It's not. Pete Buttigieg is the mayor of a city in the Midwest of around 150,000 people. It's not like Pete Buttigieg is rubbing elbows with the elite in Washington D.C. or L.A.
or Chicago
or New York
or
Chicago.
Or
you know what I
even,
mean?
Yeah.
Like this whole thought process that Pete Buttigieg is part of the elite is just it's a joke.
He might know a couple of doctors in his hometown with a little bit of money. But I'm sure that Elizabeth Warren knows many more people who have as much money. And I don't think that he was telling the truth though when he said that his net worth is 100 times less than hers because she's only worth $12 million. Chris.
Yeah, but you know the deal though, JD. He was just making a point. The numbers might not have been exact.
Yeah, I have to think he's worth at least $500,000 at this point. He's definitely not a millionaire, but I think that she definitely has him by 15 or 20 times, which is still very, very significant. But the way that he just turned that around so quickly and threw it back in her face, I mean, you have to have that type of quick wit to be successful against a guy like a Donald Trump. And that particular segment that we just listened to is exactly why I think that Pete Buttigieg would be the toughest opponent for Donald Trump on the debate stage.
You got to appreciate those skills, right, from Pete Buttigieg, at least in that perspective.
You can't teach those skills.
Yes. 702-257-5396 is the phone number. Your thoughts as to this topic. We're joined now by Mike on the phone lines. Mike wants to chime in also. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Good morning, gentlemen. I kind of agree with Brady, but I think the sleeper here, as a refugee from California, I keep a track on the bums that run the state still. Even though I'm thousands of miles away, I think pretty boy Gavin Newsom's going to step in. He's a perfect candidate. He's Pelosi's nephew. He's got a track record of free health care for everybody. Anybody, if you're an illegal, I don't care what country you're from, just get on the other side of the border down there in California, you got free health care. So he's got a track record that they sped up. And he just went on air, I noticed. I watch One American News. They're fantastic on TV.
Oh, man. Come on now, Mike. You're killing me now. You're really going to bring up OAN as a legitimate news organization? Come on, Mike.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're better than that.
My God.
You can come, Mike. You got to come stronger than that. OAN? Seriously? Come on. And that was funny. Mike referred to himself as a refugee.
They smoke Newsmax.
He said refugee.
Oh, yeah. Newsmax is right there with it, too. And, I do enjoy when the founder of Newsmax does go on Fox News, though.
Mike, it appears
and tout Donald Trump a lot.
It appears as if Chris Wynn wants you to come correct.
Yes, I mean, come on, Mike, you got to be kidding me. He drops OAN there. It was funny. He called himself a refugee. So, Mike, you obviously your transplant from California to here in Las Vegas now. Is that the deal?
Oh, no, I'm up in the far north, but I'm not going to reveal my location because I'm on a gold mine. But I have a disclaimer. I love everything my president that I elected is doing, but he's not doing enough. And my main stickler is abortion and corruption. But as far as the budget busting goes, I don't care anymore because I'm a gold miner. And every time he signs these $1 trillion budgets, it's guaranteed I'm going to make more money in the future.
Mike, we appreciate your phone call. Enjoy your holiday, okay? 702-257-5396 is the phone number here on the Vegas Take. JD, you want a point?
Yeah. Gavin Newsom, I don't think that he's going to run in 2020. I think that's just it's too far late in the game. Nobody knows who Gavin Newsom is. And
whoa. He's a prominent figure as far as Democrats are concerned.
Okay.
He's the governor of California. I agree with you. I don't think he's running in 2020.
He's the governor of California, then that's fine. But if free health care for everyone, I mean that's borderline. It's borderline socialism. Yeah. So it's possible that he could run in 2024. And I think that if the Democrats, if impeachment doesn't go the way they want it to, I think that we could possibly see the end of the two-party system. I think that we could see socialism rise up in 2024 with candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Gavin Newsom. We'll assume Bernie Sanders is still around at that point. But with how everything is going, with how everybody's trying to be so opposite of Donald Trump, well, the way to do that is to go as far left as possible. And the policies that Gavin Newsom has now, Hillary Clinton, she isn't there. Joe Biden isn't there. But in 2024. I think, and also socialism is really becoming very popular, especially among young females right now, and older females, and young people in general. College students, they're kind of adapting to it. So I think that we could really see socialism rear its head in 2024.
I think you're taking Gavin Newsom way too far left. He's not Bernie Sanders. Gavin Newsom is more moderate than I would tend to agree with you on that aspect.
Chris, free health care for everyone.
Well, that's a policy that's been implemented in California. It's not just Gavin Newsom that said, "This is my thing, and I'm going to storm forward with this." It was something that was decided among lawmakers there in California. 702-257-5396 is the phone number. JD joins the show now. JD has a take on 2020. What's going on, sir?
Hey, what's up, JD?
Well, Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
I'd love to see a Joe Biden and Donald Trump debate, but JD, he just had his 77th birthday, November the 20th. That's Biden. He would be 78 next November. So I think Mr. Biden is past his use-by date.
Yeah, I think.
Isn't Donald Trump in his 70s as well?
He's 70.
I mean, we're talking about two guys in
He's
their 70s.
73. 73 and 77.
If they were in high school, yeah, one would be a senior and one would be a freshman.
Joe Biden, to me, I've watched a lot of his interviews, a lot of his videos in the last 3 to 6 months. He does not look healthy to me. He doesn't sound healthy to me. I would not be shocked if some type of health incident took place in the next 6 to 9 months that actually knocked him out of the race.
They just asked him in the last debate about his age and being president. He said he quoted Churchill as being the oldest president. Churchill's wife was an American citizen, but not Churchill. The man does not, Trump does not know how to speak many times. JD, it's funny, sometimes I'm listening to him and he starts his sentence in the middle of the sentence. I don't know what the front part of the sentence is, but I don't think, I think they had 28 total candidates in the Democratic run-up. I think they're down to about 12. I don't think any one of those candidates is going to be able to get elected against Trump. I sort of agree with Mike and Brady. Somebody has to pop out of nowhere because I thought Steyer was going to be the guy with all of his money, but once he gets on stage, he's a drone. What's his name? Bloomberg is a drone, and the rest of them are making promises that they know they cannot keep, and they're just trying to fool the young people that think everything is going to be for free. If any one of them ever got in power, not one of the things that they're promoting, free this, free that, they've come up with new things now. Bernie has come up with new free things. I can't even remember how crazy they are. But
the problem is there's a chain effect to logistically to making all those things happen that no one ever discusses. What are your thoughts on Mayor Pete?
There's so many things that are good about the young fella, and that's the problem. Number one, he's a young fella. He's only 37 years old.
Right.
As Klobuchar has pointed out, he couldn't win in Indiana. He ran for a state office, and he only got like 22,000 votes. To be mayor of South Bend, he got 14,000. I was in South Bend in Notre Dame a few years ago, and it's a slum. It is really, you would hardly believe that Notre Dame campus is surrounded by a slum, but that's what it is. So he hasn't done anything good as a mayor. I thought the same thing about Obama in 2008, that it wasn't his time, but he would get elected probably in 2016. I was wrong then. I don't know. I think he's just too young and, not long enough in the tooth. But who knows? The times are changing. In 8 years, like I think you said, JD, in 8 years he might be more palatable to the voting public. And I appreciate JD, standing up a little more. It's your show, and I appreciate when you try to tell your partner there that it's
just in case you're wondering, my name is Chris, JD. And I think you do know my name, but he doesn't want to mention it. That's okay.
He acts like it's his show, not that you're a co-host. I mean, it's amazing how much you put up with that moron.
Hey, JD, have a Merry Christmas. Thanks very much for your input. We appreciate it. And also your critique as far as, the structure of the show. We always do. We always love it when you chime in on that
Brian
angle.
Shapiro is not a moron, but he is very, very opinionated. And a lot of the time, his opinion is going to be different than the listener's opinion, which may make them think that he's a moron.
And I do approach it a little bit differently. Obviously, you would think that Brian might have a little bit different reaction to what JG just spouted off there at the end of the call than I did. So we'll just leave it alone. I like to take the high road when it comes to that. 702-257-5396. We're discussing the possible opponents of President Trump and the debates, what they may look like as we roll into 2020 here. We're just days away, folks. This whole thing, you guys, about presidents and about this whole thing regarding somebody jumping in, JD, and the caller brought up. We're like 12 months, and we're not even 12 months away from the election.
Yeah, but
there's nobody else that's jumped. Michael Bloomberg jumping in, quote unquote, was a surprise to a lot of us.
People know what
there's nobody else.
People know
there's
what
no
Bloomberg
Gavin Newsom.
Is, but he isn't a personality. You would.
But you know what I'm saying, JD. There's not gonna be somebody jumping out of the bushes.
I'm not saying that's
and becoming the Democratic nominee. It's not happening.
I could see a Michelle Obama. I could see maybe an Oprah Winfrey, but Oprah, Michelle Obama, maybe a Hillary Clinton, a female, probably a strong female of color would be something that I could see taking place.
But Kamala Harris was just in the race. She was just there.
Yeah, but she doesn't have that brand, you know. She had a lot of baggage with how she handled things in California.
Think about this, JD, off the top of your head.
You saw what Tulsi Gabbard, who is now persona non grata for voting president.
I understand that.
You saw how she kind of destroyed her in the debate. I think that a Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, maybe somebody along those lines, if they came in late with how social media is and how fast news travels, I think that could probably put a dent in Trump's armor at this point, and he would have issues with them on a debate stage. But outside of that, I don't see anybody else trying to come in this race late that's going to make any impact whatsoever. And again, they have to have the money. Michelle Obama definitely has the money. Oprah Winfrey has more money than Trump does.
Yep.
Which it would be an interesting kind of thing because Trump's always been the wealthy guy. He's always been the richest guy in the room. Well, with Oprah Winfrey, a female, you're not the richest guy, you're not the richest person in the room with Oprah Winfrey, and I think that could be a really interesting dynamic. I wonder how he would respond to that. But outside of those two women, nobody coming in is going to make any difference whatsoever.
I just don't see it happening. That's my take. 702-257-5396 is the phone number. Jared joins us now here on the show. Jared, we appreciate your phone call. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Jared?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hanging out.
Definitely interesting conversation here. I think Mayor Pete has a really good chance of pulling this off. I think he's got a great opportunity to possibly become the president of the United States. And, that would be a great accomplishment for people who follow him. I think, as a reprobate sodomite, the moral stance of America is coming more in line with degradation, licentiousness, and something like this has been prophesied in the Bible, and I just think it's great to see the works coming forward and how everything has been prophesied. So I think this would be, I think he's got a great chance.
Let me throw this out there. Look, it's the purple, rainbow-colored elephant in the room. I don't know if America's ready to have a first husband in the White House when the president of the United States is a man. I just don't know.
But really,
look, maybe I'm being primitive. I just don't see America accepting that just yet.
Marijuana's being legalized all over the place. Sports gambling's being legalized all over the place.
A little bit different than a first husband in the White House.
These are taboo things.
No doubt.
No,
no doubt.
Marijuana
right.
was taboo. Homosexuality for a long time was taboo. Sports gambling was taboo. Are we going to see it in Utah? No. Is Pete Buttigieg ever going to win Utah? Probably not.
Right.
But I agree. I think, and by the way, you have a giant vocabulary, so congrats on that. But I think that we really don't know, because does the average person, do they really care if a man is married to another man? Because that's all it really comes down to. Yeah. Does that affect their life enough to make them, especially if he handles himself very well on stage, especially if his policy now. And I also think that Pete Buttigieg, the fact that he is a homosexual, is going to help him win the Democratic nominee. I think that's actually going to be that's going to play in his favor. Now, long term, if he goes up against Donald Trump, his policy will have to move a little bit more towards the center, which again that could definitely take place. But without his policy moving towards more the center, he's going to have some issues.
702-257-5396 is the phone number. Do we have time for one more call? I think we can squeeze one more in here. Linda joins us on the phone lines. Linda, she wants to take up for you, JD, in this category. Linda, what's going down?
Hey, what's up, Linda?
Hi. I'm not going to talk about who's going to run against who, but I just want to stick up for JD from that caller from a while ago, because I think that guy, whoever it was, he probably hears you, but he really doesn't listen to you. Because I think you're spot on about everything you say. And when you try to explain, when a caller calls in defending Trump and they don't come across quite right, you explain what they're trying to say. So I love your guys' show. I love listening to you, JD. I'm a Trump supporter, too. And as far as what he said about that guy, the guy who had passed away,
right.
First he said he's probably looking down, and then he said, well, he's probably looking up. I really don't know.
Yeah, well, he basically was making an inference that he was, that he was down in hell. Basically, is what the
right. And again, I'm not saying that I agree with it. But
there was no shock. There was no ambiguity about that.
My issue is that the media made it seem like he just attacked this guy for no reason, and that is definitely not the case.
Right, and you don't go by everything Trump says. He says outrageous things, and you talk about it in the true Trump supporters like myself, too, I disagree with him a lot, but I still love him. I think he's doing a great job. And I don't know how the Democrats could walk around and be proud to be a Democrat and hold their heads high after what they've been trying to crucify Trump since he's been elected.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that characterization. It's not them crucifying. It's mistakes that he's made on his own part that are the reason he got impeached. Linda, have a great holiday. We appreciate your phone call, okay?
All right, thanks for the call, Linda. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, it's the Vegas Take coming away live here on a Monday. I'm Chris Wynn, the other guy in here for Brian Shapiro, along with J.D. Sharp here live in studio. On the other side of the break, we're going to be joined. Look, the holiday season and Christmas has a lot of festivities. There's a lot going on, obviously, in this upcoming week. There's also a lot of NBA basketball coming up on Wednesday. We've got a number of games. We'll get into that as well as other topics, NBA topics, with our NBA insider, Jamison Welsh, as he joins the Vegas Take. Coming up live next here on the Vegas Take, Chris Wynn in for Brian Shapiro with J.D. Sharp at the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.